I've now come to believe that it is the most serious problem that democracies face. And unless we can reverse the trends, it's going to be difficult or impossible to solve any of the other pressing problems that we face. And so I've committed RAND to take the lead and do what we can to restore facts and analysis to their rightful place as the cornerstone of public decision-making, just as they are in private decision-making.
From your research, how would you characterize the media's role? Do they exacerbate, accelerate the trends? We're hopefully going to talk about the ways in which they can address and be part of the solution. But what can you tell us about the media's role?
You know, our research really suggests that it is a two-way street. It's both people's consumption decisions and media economic incentives and production decisions that feed into this. And so a solution has to tackle both pieces.
If we're not rooted in our mission to inform, reflect, and serve our communities, if we're not developing new capabilities and skill sets to meet these evolving audiences, if we're not developing the next generation of journalists and storytellers, then we are contributing to the speed of truth decay.
Keep in mind, you don't need a license to be a journalist, and that was intentional on the part of the founding fathers with the First Amendment. But what it means is that for every organization that tries to have quality as part of its brand, if you will, there are an extraordinary number of voices presenting their definition of news to that audience that you refer to that is biased to accept it, regardless of how accurate it might be.
Jennifer, Michael, I'm curious. I feel like we are living through a time of enormous complexity and polarization in some sense, in that we have an extraordinary, I believe, era of particularly investigative journalism that we're living through right now. Will it gain traction as a way to restore trust and credibility in factual information?
Well, one, I think, positive bit of news is that several of the historical periods we examined ended coincident with the rise of investigative journalism.
I think that there's two sides, and I think this is what Michael's alluding to a little bit, is the provision of investigative journalism has been really important in the past, but so has some kind of event that proved to people that facts mattered, that kind of shifted that balance. I mean, we can produce all the investigative journalism that we want and all the research reports and all the data and all the analysis, but if people don't care, if they're not interested, if they actually would rather just be right or rather just hear something that makes them feel good, then it doesn't matter. And so there has to be attention to this other side. How do we convince people that facts really do matter?
So that will bring the formal part of tonight to a close, but please join me all in thanking our extraordinary panel.
Thank you all.
Thank you.